meeting, which is part of a broader project of a series of interviews that we as Turin School of Regulation are conducting during these latest months in order to understand and investigate how the so-called digital economy, but more in general, the ecosystem of innovative startups and innovative companies is reacting and has been reacting to the pandemic brought about by the explosion of the Covid-19. Today, we are particularly delighted to be here with Giuseppe Serrao, who is Operation Manager of UAE3T. UAE3T is a startups incubator operating in the city of Turin, so in the same city of us. And before starting with the question, I would like to thanks again Giuseppe for accepting our invitation.
Thanks, Stefano, and good afternoon to everybody. I hope this short discussion could be interesting and inspiring for all of us, and we can learn from each other from these experiences.
We hope so too. So I would start directly with the first question. We know that your startup incubator is particularly engaged in dealing with companies which have a high-tech profile, especially related, for example, to the biotech sector and so on. But we also deal with firms belonging more or less to the digital-based economy, to the app-based economy, and so we are particularly also interested in understand what happened to the so-called digital platforms, if you have some information about this. So I would simply ask you to tell us what have been the impacts of COVID-19 on the ecosystem of these kind of firms during the first wave and also after the first wave of the pandemic this year.
Okay. So, first of all, I'd like to introduce the UAE3T, that is the business incubator of the University of Turin. So, it means that the incubator, it's what I usually call one of the tools of technology transfer for the university. So it means that University of Turin is quite huge. It counts about 80,000 students and 5,000 in terms of a professor, technician, and administrative. And it covers both scientific side, hard sciences, and also humanities and socials. So there is a lot of contamination in this university. We started our activity in 2000, at the end of 2007. And since that time, we launched 86 companies, 86 startups. About 50% of them, it's also recognized as a spin-off company of the University of Turin. So it means that the university, this hasn't any legal value, but it's just a recognition by the university that the know-how which is based on this company came out from the research, from the academic research. So on this 86 company, about 35% is based in the sector of life sciences, and then the rest is equally split in percentage in the sector of agri-food, clean tech, digital, and creative and cultural industries. So linked to the fact of a digital and platform and technology platform. What we observed during the pandemic, it was that we had quite important growth of the number of ideas that were proposed to the incubator. Concerning the sector, the digital sector, I think that we have the innovation that it's linked to the technology as a means to innovate traditional business models. And on the other side, that is the direct effect of the coronavirus, it's that we had several proposals that came out from the observation of the needs of the day by day. So it means that many people try to give his answer to the needs of the to their needs or to the needs of the operator that have something to sell or something to communicate for this distance. In this case, the answer for the project from the team, from the proponent of these ideas start to have just not the idea, but what we ask them is to develop this idea as an alpha version of their solution in order to test this on the market, in order to be sure that this fit on the market needs. And also it's quite linked to the to this opportunity to test this product and the necessity to have the feedback from the users. So it means that we conduct a lot of surveys and also we bring some direct experiences from the users, also in order to optimize this solution. But apart, we faced a couple of big issues. The first one, it's the digitalization and the user, the alphabetization of the user in terms of digital. But on the other side, what is also a big point, it's about the commercialization of this solution. Because Italian market, it's still suspicious in approaching online purchasing of services, and as I said, also in the adoption of digital instruments. So the distance that is created, that was created by the pandemic, was quite a matter in order to to meet directly, personally, our customer, the tester of this solution. And this is something that in some cases, and it depends on the businesses, could be overcome if these services are ready to sell. I give you some examples. We at the end of 2019, we launched Badacare. It's a company who provide some services for families, some nurses for families in order to take care of old people. And this is quite and is a platform that give the solution to families in order to have different profiles of these nurses and to select few of them in order to interview and to find the right matching with their needs. And they invested a lot in direct commercial activity, and they had a good success because they face and find a solution to they have a ready solution to some needs. And in this case, the pandemic boosted their development. Another example, it's Redless, that it's a project to give a solution to retailers that want to face the digital world and give some easy instruments to create their virtual window. In some cases to sell, but in other cases in order to show their products, to invite customers to their shop, to their physical shop. And in this case, the platform, the solution was get an important interest from retailers, but they want to speak directly with people. And this is something that not the social distance, you know, it's quite difficult, and also for the next month will be difficult. So in this case, we have to overcome this situation. So we need the human touch to talk with people, and also to show them what is our solution, our business.
Okay, very clear. And I would like to start from a point that you mentioned in your first answer, which is the point about commercialization, but also the ability in a way to have already a solution to some problems which can be experienced in the market and by a potential demand of services. So we know that the quickness and the ability to have a solution, the ability to adapt to this very complex situation was maybe a factor to achieve good performance in the market. How did you deal with these problems as a startup incubator? Did the pandemic affect the way also the startup incubators work in order to accelerate even more the pace of development of these new and innovative firms and companies?
It changed a lot because from one side, during this period, as I mentioned before, people was quite creative. They want to give their contribution to this situation, and so it boosts the new ideas, new proposition, and so on. Just to give you some numbers, since April, we had about 13 pre-selection committee. So it means that we evaluate ideas. We keep in touch. We have a pre-evaluation, and then there is a committee of selection. And so since April, we had 13 committee, and for each committee, we had about 6 to 9 pitch presentation of this idea, and so this is quite a huge number. So we are talking about new ideas, new promising ideas. So it means that there is a lot of interest in new startups, but let me say about 50% of this new proposition were stimulated from the COVID. So they are COVID-related ideas, and this is quite interesting. On the other side, our approach to the development of idea, it's the human touch approach. So it means that we have several meetings with the teamer, and we need to look at them in their eyes. And this is completely changed because we transferred our activity as we are doing now, that it's mediated by a screen. And it's from one side, we learned a lesson that it's the flexibility of this instrument, the quick, so we can have we can keep in touch quite in a quite easy way. But from the other side, also we need to understand people and to understand their commitment, and this is something that we are. I don't know if it's not possible online. But it's something that we don't know. It's something. It's something new. But it's a great bet, because if you look at international surveys on the failure of startups, the first point it's linked to the team. About the 20%, I referred to a survey that is called Autopsy for startups. The 20% of the failure of startups, it's for the wrong team. So this is something that it's important. This is something that also we can observe what happened with investors. During this month, we had a lot of opportunities to meet investors. It's quicker than in the past. We can do it from our desk, from our office, from our room. We don't need to move from Milan or from Rome or from whatever to have this meeting, and I think this is a good thing. But still, to have I have no sensibility on and I have no information if some deal that we started online was start in a new investment. There is a lot of contact, some deals that are in the due diligence step, but they are still to be terminated by an investment. So also from the investors, this is something that is important, is to speak directly with people, because we usually speak of ideas, we usually speak of startups, but be careful, because behind this idea, behind these startups, there are people, and the matter is not the idea. The matter is the skill of the execution of this idea from the team. And this is, I think, the first point. I'm not sure we are ready to solve this in this way, through a screen.
Okay, thanks again. And now I would like to ask the last question of this meeting, which is more general as topic. We know that there is the promise of lots of money and funds coming from the European community, for example, with the recovery fund. There is the idea of facilitating, in a way, a sort of, you're already laughing, there is the idea of facilitating through these channels of money a sort of green and digital transition, for example. There are new regulations coming from the EU about the digital world, the so-called Digital Services Act. So the world is trying to move. So in general terms, what is the role that can be played by a player like you, by the ecosystem of innovation in this future and in this scenario of possible new investments?
This is the last question, but it's the more complicated. So from one side, it seems that for the future there are a lot of opportunities for the startups in terms of money. There is a wider, there are a lot of actors in this field. there are a lot of venture capitals. Many of these were born in the past 18 months, based on the European Investment Bank fund. It's an operation that it's called Itatech, that it is the newborn of five. Actually, I think we're authorizing five new investment, vertical investment fund on different field. By this summer, we signed an agreement with Eureka Fund and the University of Turin on in the field of new materials. This is just an example, but there are others that are vertical in pharma or in digital technologies and other fields. So there is also a new movement for business angels, because there are wide skills of business angel. Here in Turin, we have one of the biggest club of business angels, that is the Club degli Investitori, that it's called, and also is attracting also people with different skills. And in the past, we had the lack of skills in the capacity to the interpretation of startups in the life science sector, and all the system is the ecosystem is growing. And so also people that have some experiences in this field join this the business angel club, and so it moves several investment in this field. Also, an important role is played by another actor, that is Lifty, that it's a company based on private capital that is sustained by Compagnia di San Paolo, so that invest in this sector because they enrolled in the management team people with experiences in this field, and they had several. They started and they concluded some important operation. Couple of the startups that were born in 2012 and 2013 in life science sector, new pharmas, find some capital to bring on their businesses, and so it's this is quite important. Another big opportunity, but I think it takes several years to see this fund, is the Green Deal. This is there is a lot of interest from the European community on this side. From the other side, I think we have to grow as a real ecosystem because the Piedmont ecosystem as a territorial level, I think it's quite rich. We have 3 universities. We have some public bodies that from many years they are interested and they invest in entrepreneurship, in supporting new businesses. Regione Piemonte, the Piedmont region, since 2009 has a program for innovative startups. And more, we have also the association as an association from entrepreneur that they want they give some help to startups. Also the association of professionals that have some programs to coach, to support startups, because they look at them have one of the wheel, one what I call it's a system integrator. We look at startup not as a unicorn. I think every incubator is in his dream to have in his let me say portfolio big unicorns as Apple or Facebook or whatever. But we know that 99.9% of this will be just a system integrator. So it means that by their innovation, they bring this innovation in traditional companies that and help them to compete on the international market. From on the other side, there is also the finance and so on. So this is quite rich of operator, and I think this richness it's the value of our territory. The next level it's that this operator, they work not alone, but they work all together as a system. And this could be a big opportunity, but we have we are dealing with this new situation, and we have to understand how to cooperate and collaborate at the best for our territory, because at the end of this, it's our territory that will survive and not be the only player.
Okay. So thanks again for the last time. Thank you for this very broad and enriching conversation. We hope to meet you again, and goodbye.